There's a brutal truth most men never accept. The world doesn't value what's readily available. People chase what's scarce, they respect what's distant, and they beg for what doesn't beg back. That's the law of human behavior and the soul of Stoicism. If you constantly give your time, your emotions, your energy without restraint, you become forgettable. But if you become a man of depth, of self-mastery, of unwavering standards, you become unforgettable. This video will shatter the illusion that you need to chase to be chosen. You don't. Instead, you will learn how to create gravitational self-worth, where others feel your absence more than your presence. And eventually, they beg for it. As Marcus Aurelius once said, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. We don't retaliate with noise, we elevate in silence. You're not here to prove your value. You're here to become so valuable that proof becomes unnecessary. These 10 strategies, rooted in Stoic wisdom and dark psychology, are designed to hardwire respect into your presence. Each principle will reprogram how people perceive you, and more importantly, how you perceive yourself. By the end, you won't just be seen differently, you'll carry an energy so rare they'll feel honored just to access it. Let this sink in. I am not chasing, I attract. Type that in the comments if you're ready to embody it. This is the blueprint. Let's begin. Number 1, become comfortable with being alone. Most people run from silence because silence reveals the truth. But the Stoic man? He walks into that silence like a warrior into battle. When you become comfortable with being alone, you stop needing validation, attention, or cheap dopamine to feel whole. And that's when your value skyrockets, because people can sense that you don't need them. In a world full of needy energy, detached confidence becomes magnetic. Epictetus once said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." Translation: stop needing approval. Isolation is where greatness is built. It's where you confront your weaknesses, rebuild your boundaries, and develop the mindset that doesn't flinch when people walk away. Why? Because you no longer fear being left. You've trained yourself to stand alone and stand strong. When you master solitude, you no longer chase people. You make them chase the peace they feel in your presence. That kind of energy can't be faked. It's forged in solitude, in discipline, in choosing your mission over meaningless distractions. You become harder to manipulate, harder to access, and therefore more desirable. They begin to crave the man who doesn't crave them back. And that's when the power dynamic shifts. So sit with yourself, embrace the silence, develop your craft. Build a life so rich, so fulfilled, that your presence feels like a reward, not a request. Type it again if it hits. I'm not chasing, I attract, because that's the man you're becoming. Number 2, master the power of silence. There's an ancient power that most men underestimate: silence. Not passivity, not weakness, but calculated, deliberate silence. The kind of silence that says, I see everything, and I owe you no reaction. That's the energy of dominance. It's not loud, it's not aggressive, it's surgical. And in the Stoic world, silence is a weapon, because the man who can stay silent in chaos owns the room. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You always own the option of having no opinion." That is power. In today's world, everyone is shouting. Everyone is reacting. But when you choose not to respond, when you control your tongue, your tone, your timing, you instantly shift into a higher psychological frame. Silence triggers insecurity in manipulators. It frustrates the egos of attention seekers. It forces people to question themselves instead of questioning you. Here's what most men don't realize. When you speak less, your words gain value. When you react less, your presence gains weight. And when you withhold validation, people start seeking it from you, not the other way around. Silence is not avoidance. It's strategy. It's discipline. It's the ability to listen deeply, observe carefully, and act with precision. And that makes you unpredictable, mysterious, powerful. You don't need to explain yourself to be understood. You don't need to defend yourself to be respected. Silence speaks louder than desperation ever could. Remember, I am not chasing, I attract. And silence, that's the magnet. Number 3, detach from outcomes, not effort. The moment you become addicted to outcomes is the moment you surrender your power. Stoicism teaches us that the only thing you truly own is your effort, not the result, not their response, not whether they stay, praise you, or reciprocate. When you do the work and release your attachment to how it unfolds, you become unshakable. And in a world of emotional slaves, that kind of man becomes rare. And rare becomes valuable. As Epictetus said, make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. Most people don't live like this. They obsess over being liked, over getting a response, over outcomes they cannot control. That obsession leads to anxiety, overthinking, and worst of all, chasing. But the Stoic man, he shows up, he gives his best, and then he lets go. Not because he doesn't care, but because he refuses to be enslaved by what isn't his. And that detachment, it radiates confidence. It tells people, I want you, but I don't need you. I show up with value. You choose what to do with it. This is how you flip the script. When you detach, you create tension. When you don't force outcomes, others lean in. Because humans are wired to value what isn't desperate for their approval. Make peace with uncertainty. Focus on process. And repeat this in the comments if you feel it. I am not chasing, I attract. That's the energy of kings. Number 4, give less, observe more. Giving too much, too fast, too often, it's a trap. It feels noble, but it's rooted in insecurity. When you overgive, especially in the early stages of relationships, romantic, professional, or social, you communicate one dangerous message: my value must be proven. That's not strength, that's submission. The Stoic path is the opposite. Give less, observe more. Why? Because observation reveals truth. Giving obscures it. Seneca once said, a gift consists not in what is done or given, but in the intention of the giver. If your intention is to be liked, chosen, or approved of, you're operating from weakness. But when you hold back, when you listen, when you assess character before investing your energy, you stop bleeding value. You become the evaluator, not the applicant, the chooser, not the chosen. Observe their actions, their tone, their respect for your time. Do they reciprocate? Do they honor your presence? Or are they just taking what's freely offered? Remember this: people don't value what costs them nothing. So if you're always first to text, always quick to please, always giving away your attention, you're training them to see you as optional. But when you pause, when you observe, when you give with precision, not desperation, you become a man they earn access to. That's real power. That's high-value energy. So step back, watch more, give less. Let silence and patience do the heavy lifting. And if you're with me, say it out loud or comment, I am not chasing, I attract. Number 5, make your time a scarce resource. Time is the one currency you can never get back. Yet most men spend it like it's unlimited, answering every call, responding instantly, saying yes to everyone, everywhere. But a high-value man guards his time like a king guards his throne. Why? Because what is rare is respected, and what is always available is ignored. If people know they can access you anytime, they'll never value your presence. Period. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." That isn't morbid, it's liberating. Your time is sacred because it's limited. And when you act like it's valuable, the world reflects that value back to you. Start moving with intentionality. Don't rush to reply. Don't explain your schedule. Let people earn your time. When you make your time scarce, you force people to prioritize you or lose access. This changes the dynamic instantly. They start showing up on time. They speak with more respect. They watch their words. Because now you're not just another option. They know your attention comes at a cost. Scarcity breeds desire, and presence, when rare, becomes magnetic. So restructure your availability. Cut time wasters. Walk away from energy drainers. And remind yourself daily, I am not chasing, I attract. Because your time is an extension of your worth. And once you command it, the world begins to take notice. Number 6, build mystery through selective disclosure. Mystery is power. And in a world addicted to oversharing, the man who holds back becomes captivating. You don't have to lie. You don't have to manipulate. You simply have to be selective. Because the more people know about you up front, the more they feel they've figured you out. And once people believe they've figured you out, they stop valuing you. Stoicism teaches that self-control isn't just about emotions, it's about what you reveal. Epictetus said, "Keep your philosophy to yourself for now. Let your principles be shown by your actions." Translation: let your life speak louder than your words. Talk less about your goals. Show them. Don't broadcast your struggles. Master them. When people can't quite place you, when they can't predict your next move, they become intrigued. And that intrigue? It pulls them toward you. Men who reveal everything too quickly destroy the tension that creates attraction and respect. It's not about being cold. It's about being intentional. When you reveal just enough to spark curiosity, but never enough to be fully read, you become unforgettable. You become a puzzle people want to solve, and every interaction becomes an experience they replay in their head. The less they know, the more they want to know. So speak with purpose. Guard your inner world. And remember, the man who controls what he shares controls how he's perceived. Number 7, raise your standards, then enforce them. Most men talk about standards, but few actually enforce them. They say they want respect, loyalty, consistency, but then they tolerate disrespect, flakiness, and emotional crumbs. Why? Because deep down, they fear loss more than they value self-respect. But Stoicism teaches us this: you are what you tolerate. And if you don't defend your boundaries, your standards mean nothing. Seneca once wrote, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you." That's not just advice, it's a demand to curate your circle. You must first define what you will and won't accept. Then you must be ruthless in upholding it. If someone disrespects your time, cut access. If someone brings chaos to your peace, walk away. Not with hate, not with anger, but with finality. High standards don't repel people, they filter them. The wrong ones will leave, yes, but the right ones will rise. They'll adjust. They'll chase. They'll respect you more because they know they can't just coast through your life unchecked. You don't attract quality by begging for it. You attract it by embodying it. So raise your standards and back them with silence, space, and action. Watch how quickly people either rise to meet you or expose their truth. Both outcomes, pure power. And if this resonates, I want you to comment right now. My standards are the gate to my kingdom. Because once you start enforcing your worth, they'll either step up or fall off. Number 8, become the emotion they're missing. People don't remember facts. They remember feelings. They remember how you made them feel in your presence. That's why the most magnetic men aren't always the best-looking, richest, or loudest. They're the ones who fill an emotional void. Loneliness, safety, thrill, understanding. If you can identify what someone deeply lacks and then become that experience, you'll become unforgettable. Marcus Aurelius said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." The same applies to others. You become the emotion they associate with you. But this isn't about manipulation. It's about understanding human behavior and embodying value. If she's used to being judged, be acceptance. If he's used to being dismissed, be attention. If they're used to chaos, be calm. You become the contrast that highlights their emptiness. Most people are emotionally starving, and when someone enters their life and feeds what no one else can, they cling to that person. But don't overplay it, don't chase, don't explain. Just let your presence speak louder than any performance. Let them feel it, let them crave it. And when you pull back, they'll feel the void, and they'll beg for more. Your power lies in emotional intelligence, not noise. So become the calm in the storm, the fire in their apathy, the connection in their loneliness. And if this hits you deep, comment it now. I am the emotion they never knew they needed. Because when you master this, they'll never forget how you made their soul flinch. Number 9, master the art of emotional detachment. There's nothing more powerful than a man who can feel everything but be owned by nothing. Emotional detachment doesn't mean apathy. It means you no longer let external chaos dictate your internal peace. You respond, you don't react. And when you master that, you become untouchable. The Stoics were relentless about this principle. Epictetus taught, "We suffer not from the events in our lives, but from our judgment about them." Translation? What breaks most men isn't what happens, it's how they internalize it. Detachment is the shield that protects your self-worth from manipulation, from rejection, from disrespect. You feel it, but you don't flinch. You observe, but you don't spiral. People chase what they can't control. And when your energy becomes stable, calm, and unmoved, it becomes addicting. You stop over-explaining. You stop emotionally bleeding to be understood. You simply let your actions, your silence, and your composure speak volumes. That's when they notice. That's when they crave your reaction. But they won't get it. Because you've evolved beyond the need to be understood, you've chosen to understand yourself. Emotional detachment is not a lack of care, it's a declaration of strength. So stop being the puppet of your emotions, cut the strings, own the moment. And if this speaks to your power, comment right now. My peace is my power. I do not react, I respond. Because once you become emotionally detached, they won't just chase you, they'll need you. Number 10, let them feel your absence with grace. Sometimes your absence speaks louder than your presence ever could. When you pull back, not out of anger, not out of spite, but from self-respect, you send a signal that echoes in their mind long after you've gone quiet. This is the final test of value. Can they still feel you, even when you're not there? Seneca once said, "Withdraw into yourself as far as you can." That doesn't mean isolate, it means elevate. When someone no longer values your presence, you don't beg, argue, or chase. You simply retreat with grace and certainty. You stop watering dead gardens. You stop overextending. You disappear not to punish them, but to preserve your essence. And here's what happens. They notice. The silence gets loud. The lack of your energy becomes a void. And in that space, they start to understand the weight of what they lost. Because true value isn't proven in presence. It's revealed in absence. Your presence should feel like peace, power, and clarity. So when you step back, your absence should echo those same things. Don't make a scene. Don't explain. Just vanish with elegance and let time reveal everything. If this resonates with your inner power, comment it now. Let them feel my silence. I move with purpose, not permission. Because the day they realize what your absence really means is the day they finally value what your presence was. You've just walked through 10 strategies that don't beg for attention. They command respect. These aren't games. They're not tricks. They're timeless principles rooted in Stoicism, dark psychology, and the unshakable foundation of self-worth. You don't need to chase anyone. You don't need to prove anything. You simply need to become so grounded, so intentional, so rare, that your presence feels like a privilege and your absence a revelation. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." And I'll add this, the best power move is not to react, but to rise. Rise above insecurity. Rise above pettiness. Rise into the man who lives by inner code, not outer approval. That's what this channel, Stoic Blueprint, is about. Men who build themselves in silence, who master the unseen disciplines, who are remembered not for their noise, but for their gravity. Now it's your turn. Take what you've learned and begin applying it daily. Let your energy shift. Let your standards speak. Let your detachment protect your peace. And above all, let your value become felt, not flaunted. And if you felt this message in your bones, comment below and don't forget to subscribe the channel. Write it, claim it, live it. Like this video, share it with a brother who needs to hear this. Subscribe to Stoic Blueprint and turn on the bell, because your transformation has just begun and they will beg for you.